Thank you so much for being here. For the sake of everyone listening, what is your name
My name is Jonathan Olu Amon.
and what year were you born?
A long time ago.
Do you what decade? Let's say then.
In the 50s?
In the 50s.
Yes. Very, very early 50s.
At the time of your birth, do you remember how old your parents were?
At the time
of your birth, do you remember how old your parents were?
Early 20s.
Oh,
Yeah.
both of them?
Yeah.
Do you remember what your dad or your mom did for a living?
My dad was an accountant. My stepdad was an engineer.
Okay.
He studied here.
Okay.
Hence my being here. Okay.
So you've been
Let
here.
me say, he literally raised me anyway.
Right.
Rather than my biological father.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
My biological father worked for UTC.
Oh, okay.
In Lagos.
Okay.
They were children of the 20s and 30s. Okay, so, yeah. And so is my stepfather.
Sure.
Great man. Great man. And when I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We had the ups and downs, but, on reflection, it was mostly my fault because I had my own ideas.
Yeah. Is that obviously hindsight? Hindsight makes you feel that way.
Yeah. I only wish he was here. Well, before he died, he knew I loved him very, very much. Wasn't anything that that we didn't talk about, but now I just want to sit with him.
How old would he be? If he was still alive.
He'll be well in his 90s. He'll be closer to 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for your loss.
That's life.
Yeah.
The man upstairs knows what he plans for everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it was his time to go and he left.
Yeah.
But if he was here now, I'll hug him.
Yeah. In a way, you could say is in you.
Well, all he taught me
is with you.
Is with me.
Yeah.
And it reflects on my children. And they all make me very, very happy.
Yeah.
Beautiful children too. I know that's what most parents say about their children.
Well, yeah, you have to say that, yeah.
But for my children's achievement,
you're happy.
I'm happy. Yes.
Did you how many siblings do you have? Do you have any brothers and sisters?
There are 6 of us.
And wow, and you're number 1 of 6?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Was there a lot of responsibility naturally growing up?
Very much so, yes. You see, because you see, the country hasn't been fair.
Are you talking about Nigeria now?
No, I'm talking of the UK.
Ah, right.
It hasn't been fair, just like they have not been fair, for the past 500 years, to the black man, like the Arabs haven't been fair to the black man for 1,000, 2,000 years.
Yeah.
You see, but when you take Great Britain, I think they've done the worst.
You've lived in the UK since what? I guess since your
60s.
Since the 60s.
Yes. Came here in 67.
Wow.
So
It's very different Britain to now.
Yeah. What my parents went through, right? From our own point of view, it was intolerable. And we had to rescue them. So what you all see fighting, all the things you see now, it's an extension of what we fought for in the 60s and the 70s. Why? Because of racism.
Yeah, it's an ill.
And it hasn't finished.
No.
You people are experiencing a different version of racism.
Yeah. As I suspect, the generation before ours and the generation
it's going to kick off like it kicked off during our time.
Man. But let's not, before we get to, let's pause. Tony, you want to come in?
Hi, sorry.
It's okay, I can hear you.
Yeah.
So we're back in. Yeah. Just before we get too far along.
Yes.
What was do you remember what your early childhood was like?
Well, here or in Nigeria?
You can take a pick. So let's just say in Nigeria, for example.
My early childhood was good. Let me call it privileged.
Okay.
Slightly privileged. You see, because my grandfather and my grandmother, they were civil servants. My grandmother was a teacher, and my grandfather retired as a director in the old Post and Telecoms.
Wow.
Right. He too was a fighter, for his children and his grandchildren. And saying that was part of the reason why I came to England, because of his love and care for his children.
Were you close to them? You say your grandmother was a teacher. Were you very close?
I was close to them. I was the first grandchild.
Yeah.
So I got the batik boundary from, I got all of that. But at the same time, there is a Yoruba adage that when you smack a child, the same hand that you used to smack your child, you pull
them closer.
And yeah. So I got all of that. I wasn't spared the rod.
Do you think that kind of made you wise beyond your years? Because typically if you grow up around your grandparents.
From a child's point of view, growing up, you don't
think of it like that.
You don't think of it like that. You think you've been abused. You think you've been maltreated. Yes. No, I mean, I will confess this, right? To a point that, you see, my parents left earlier. They left like 62, 63.
To come to the UK?
Yeah.
Okay.
61, 62, 63, something like that. To come to the UK, every time they called to see how I was doing with my little brother, who is a professor here.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. My younger brother, right? I will quietly whisper that I'm suffering. You see? But they knew to take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. But they understood what you were saying.
Yes. I don't think they really took me serious. But then the catalyst was the Nigerian Civil War. Because Grandpa is an Igbo man. Grandpa was from Onitsha. Right. And Grandma was from Oderemo. Okay. And when the war started and a lot of the Igbos left, people came from the people who came in from the north. We couldn't differentiate them.
Wow.
You know, if you don't speak Yoruba, you speak Igbo. Right? From a Lagosian point of view, right? If you don't speak Yoruba, right, you speak Efik, Ibibio, or whatever, right? Ikwere, Urobo. As long as we don't understand what you're saying, you are Igbo. In the north, it doesn't matter whether you Beron, Takpa, Kanuri, or whatever.
You didn't speak the language, yeah.
Even the Egyptian is an Hausa man.
Wow.
From my own point of view.
Yeah.
So from Ore all the way to South Africa, they are all Igbos.
Wow.
That was how myopic
the view
was. So when the Northerners came and the overthrow and the killing of Aguiyi-Ironsi, the first military leader we had in Nigeria, right? This was majorly a revolt by the Northern soldiers, right? We all said it's an Hausa coup. Okay. From there, when they came in, the Igbos left because Ojukwu said to come and defend Biafra.
Yeah.
Okay. But my grandfather refused to leave because he didn't believe in Ojukwu.
So he stayed. He stayed
in his job. By staying in his job, I saw what you'd call the bad side of tribalism. There was an Igbo man married to a Yoruba man. You come in and you ask him what he's still doing in his country, Nigeria. Right? And you want to start manhandling him. That says a lot for the unity of Nigeria, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
The ones who wanted to leave left.
Yeah.
But you see, I had a very powerful grandmother. And because my grandfather worked, I knew a lot of people who got killed and beaten up. And
wow.
In Lagos, yes.
Wow.
The general harassment. I had an uncle that was half Igbo, half Yoruba. Listen, he came to find the family and he was accepted by the family. I think in 1963, 64, he came in. And by 1967, they beat him up. Wow. That, all he did was he went shopping in Obalende. His name was Oshidero. But because he was raised in the East, they asked him to call Toro, and he said Toro with an Igbo accent.
Yeah, and
they beat the hell out of him. So this guy went across to the East, only to be killed fighting against Nigeria.
Wow.
He joined the Biafran army, and in the process, he got killed. So my grandfather, right, being harassed, good thing my grandmother, right, they have their societies, right? She'll pick up the phone, I remember. She'll pick up the phone Ade Tokunbo Ademola, because we were all friends.
Wow.
That was the first CJ. He will phone the Dam Barracks, and somebody in the Dam Barracks will call the Pori police station, and they will run over to withdraw the soldiers from our house.
Wow.
That was when my grandfather said, look, listen, calling on my mother, I'm sending your child back to England, even if I have to die. But luckily, he survived the war.
Thankfully, yeah.
Yeah, thankfully, yes.
What a childhood.
Yeah.
As a memory or as a starting point, that's, man.
So
how did you find then? So from that, moving here, was it very, having experienced what you just described now, and then moving to the UK, was it very polarizing? Was life very black and white, going from that kind of situation?
okay, I'm going to shock you now. You see, although these thoughts of mine, might shock you, but I hope you understand.
Okay.
Right? I'm born British.
Okay. Right.
I was born in Nigeria. I was born when the British authority owned Nigeria. Nobody asked me at the age of 10, around about that, if I wanted to become a Nigerian. So naturally, when I was coming home.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? Even though I came with a Nigerian passport, you gave it to me. It is irresponsible for the British government, to say I'm a Nigerian when I am not. I was born during I stand God Save the Queen. So how dare you now leave me behind in a country that I don't want, and you now say, be thankful for applying for a British passport. That should have been mine since I was born.
Yeah. Wow.
Am I making sense?
Absolutely. You were born in a British-occupied Nigeria.
Of course. And you didn't ask me. Yeah. You overnight turn around and tell me I'm a Nigerian. At the age of 10, 11, 12, 15. You didn't ask me. And I couldn't even vote until I was 21. So anybody up to the age of 20.
What they got was what they got.
Before 1960. It's British. Because when you went to school, your allegiance
was to the Queen.
Yeah.
Oh, very interesting.
So how can Britain turn around and say, hey, look, listen. You want to be a British citizen, apply for it. I was British citizen before majority of you were born anyway. I'm a proud Nigerian, don't get me wrong.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
And because of what's going on in Nigeria, right? I appreciate some of the things we do here in England. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for all of those idiots in Nigeria that are turning the country on its head, right? I don't wish them well.
Yeah, it's hard to
put it mildly. You see, because of the atrocities.
Yeah.
And, the white man watches how the black man is treated. And then when they stop me, my children, my grandparents, my parents here, they kill, they maim, they do whatever it is. And they expect us to be grateful because if you were back in your country, you're treated worse. No. I'm in my country. I'm here for my inheritance. So I don't know if that's answered your question.
Absolutely, it has. Because my next question was going to be, now living in the UK, feeling the way you felt, and you were coming back home, did you integrate? Did you come with all of that, and did that help you sort of integrate into the British society, or have you always sort of held a connection? Have you ever felt the divide? So this is the thing about me growing up. I was born in Nigeria and have now lived in the UK for the best part of my life, right? But there's always a duality you feel. You feel there's a hybrid. There's a way I describe it, which is you're not fully Nigerian because some of your life experiences differ quite a lot. But then you're also not fully British in the sense that you have a different origin. And so that sort of hybrid lifestyle puts you in a no man's land, or if you like, in a kind of limbo. Have you ever felt that?
All the time.
Still?
Even now.
Yeah.
You see, when I came here, right, with how the British advertised Britain
Yeah.
to the
Commonwealth.
no, the British in Nigeria, okay, is that back in the main village, which is England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland, right? Everything was perfect. So when I left the shores of Nigeria, I left for the Garden of Eden. But on my arrival, right, in fact, right at the airport, my parents to meet me, and I'll tell you this, you probably find this funny. They had told my grandparents, my grandmother, essentially, that they wanted things like ewedu. They wanted things,
Produced from home.
Yeah, pepper, this, that. Yeah. And for a child coming with all these things, looking forward, to his motherland, right? Got to the airport. I saw this Englishman with bright smile. And I felt, wow, this guy must love me. Finally, I've come to where I will see a lot of Europeans. Because they never do wrong. Right? If there was a protest somewhere back in Nigeria, it's all these policemen with long stick that really hammers your head.
Yeah, it's never the Europeans.
Not the Europeans. So usually the evil man is your own kind. So in getting in front of this guy said, hello. I said, hello. And he said, oh, what have we got here? That was at the customs. And I said, well, my mommy want this, my mommy want, ask my grandma to.
Yeah.
He said, and the next thing he asked me was, how about the one they smoke? Do you have it here?
Whoa.
Said, I like smoking. So I said, you take any one you want.
What?
Said, no, point the one that they smoke. That was my first day in England. But of course, I didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah, but that, wow.
And like we say back home, God go soon catch him. So he went, I don't know for what reason, put his hand in while he was pressing the pepper, the pepper, he took it and somewhere got into his nose. You know where all my pepper landed? On the floor. Oh.
Wow.
And that was the first time I saw the red eyes of a white man. So, his friends came and said, what happened? He said, just get him out of here.
Wow. And you couldn't have been more than, like, how old were you? You couldn't have been...
16.
Wow.
So I went to explain to my parents and so on. Oh, it's okay. We are glad you are here and so on. They thought nothing of it. I thought they would be mad at me. I didn't understand that, when they slap you, you turn, the next cheek. And, when they're done, you turn until they get tired and ask you to leave, and you still thank them to say, thank you for slapping me around. It hadn't occurred to me then. You know, but, you know, I found myself living in Brixton. Weekends, I will go to Brixton Market with my parents. You know, I will do all the shopping, come back home. There'll be fights between black kids and white kids. Normally the whites come off worse, right? It didn't occur to me that there was this anger. The majority of black people that they were trying to express, but nobody would listen.
This is Brixton in the 70s.
Yeah, in the 60s.
Oh.
You know, penchant anger. You know, everybody was angry. But why? I didn't know. We had a next door neighbor, I can't remember his name. The guy was 93, partly deaf. You know, my mom used to parcel some food to him. He was a nice guy. When he heard the police siren coming to my road, right, you'll see everybody pull out. They used to supply milk bottles.
Oh.
Right? 6 police cars will come in and 5 will be damaged just to pick up one person.
Wow.
On a trumped up charge most of the time.
It sounds like you went from a bad situation to a worse situation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was war. You know, I remember you'd be walking on the street and a policeman will stop you. What's your name? Where are you coming from? If you're unlucky, this happened to lots of my friends. Man cruelty to man. They will stop an innocent child. Right? Take this child. This happened to me as well. Take this child to the police station. And ask him, have you got any criminal record? And he'll say, no. No. They say, well, you have one now.
Wow.
And he'll be in front of the judge and on a trump-up charge.
Wow.
And he's got a criminal record.
From doing absolutely nothing?
Oh, 80% of the times. I mean, I'm not trying to paint black kids as...
Oh, no. I mean...
as saints.
No. People are people.
Right.
But it doesn't excuse the cruelty. It doesn't excuse...
Oh, there was serious cruelty. So we then, my generation, took it upon ourselves. Your mother and your father will go out in the morning, you know, to go and take the bus to go to work. Your mom will run home, having been slapped around by teddy boys, telling her, monkey, go home. Your dad, you know, will come with swollen and is not able to go to work. The next day he turns up at work. He is fired for not coming to work a day before, even with a swollen face.
This is, I think at the start of this conversation...
No, we had to hide that from you guys.
Yeah.
So that you don't go around tearing the country down.
Yeah.
Right? Because with that anger, you could have done anything and we would have lost a lot of you.
Yeah.